Hello, this is Catherine Dubberly, the Answer Lady. Today, let's bind off and make our buttonholes simultaneously. I'm working on a blouse with a sideways yoke, but you could also do this on a placket that was created with a vertical slit, simply by rehanging that vertical slit. Let me show you how it works.
Here's my new blouse. I want to show you some special things about it. First of all, it's knitted with a circular yoke that goes all the way around the back. So in order to make it open in the front, I had to put buttons and buttonholes on the ends. This is actually the cast on and this is the cast off. And I think they came out really cute. And they're also not very difficult. So I'm going to show you how to work it so that you can make this too. This particular pattern will soon be available in News and Views magazine, and after that it will be part of a collection that I think I'm going to call Circular Logic about these yoked sweaters. But for now, you might like to know how to do this. First of all, we're going to bind off around the gate pegs, but just bind off one needle to begin with. Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, behave yourself, 3. That will be my first buttonhole. Now bind off 3 more stitches around the gate pegs. There we go. Now chain 3. For me, it works best to keep my chain stitches fairly small because I want my buttonhole to be a fixed size. Of course, if you were using big, huge buttons, you would need more chain stitches. And you would need them to be farther apart than 3 stitches. I worked them to be the size of the buttons I intended to use, so you could adjust that matter. This would work on any gauge of machine, but you would again need to adjust your stitching and your spacing. Now so far we've been binding off around the gate pegs, and that works great for brother machines. But hobby machines and passive machines don't have gate pegs, so that's going to be a little bit of a problem. Or you might think so, but it's really not. Let's see, I finished this buttonhole, so let me hang. I hung the stitch. Now I'm going to use the transfer method as if I were on a passive or a hobby machine and bind off. This also creates a chain stitch. 2. Okay, we just bound off 3 stitches. Now we'll make the buttonhole simply by chaining 3 on the needle that it's on. 1, 2, picking up the working yarn, putting it in the hook, pulling it through. Number 3. Moving the stitch over to the next one, manually knitting a stitch to bind off. 1. This is the transfer bind off method. I have a whole video on it if you're not very clear on it, so I won't go into a lot of detail here. It looks nearly identical to the binding off around the gate pegs method. Not absolutely identical. It's where the chain stitch falls on the edge that's a little bit different. I'm ready to make a buttonhole. 1, 2. So in my opinion, you would want to be consistent in the method that you use within one project. But from project to project, I don't think anybody's ever going to notice. Binding off. 1, 2. Oops, I tried to cheat and it caught up to me. 3. Ready to transfer. We have room for one last buttonhole. Knitting 3 chain stitches. 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, we're going to try this at a different angle than I was filming before, because I think that my hand was making it probably quite difficult for you to see, and I only have one wrist, so I had to bend it. We're going to try binding off around one gate peg, and now chaining 3 to make a buttonhole. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to bind off 3 more stitches. 1, 2, 3, and chain 3 to make a buttonhole. 1, 2, 3. There's my buttonhole. Sorry about the arm, it seems to keep getting into the act. I'll do my best. 1, 2, 3. The extra blue fuzz is free. Speaking of which, it's about time for me to clean that needle tape, isn't it? 1, 2, 3 chain stitches. I've been doing a lot of production knitting with alpaca yarn, and boy, is that some lint producing stuff. Worth it though. Very nice yarn. 3 bind off stitches, 3 chain stitches, 3 bind offs. There is a little bit of an advantage to using the bind off around the gate pegs over the transfer bind off, and that is that the gate pegs do your spacing for you automatically, whereas if you are to get a nice bind off using the transfer method, the tightness of your stitch is up to you, and getting each stitch the same size is up to you. Now, practice helps, of course, and you can learn to do it very, very well, but this gives you automatic spacing. The last 3 stitches to bind off. I'm going to transfer this stitch over, and then we'll take a quick look at it. Let me get this out of the way. You can see 3 bound off stitches, a buttonhole, 1, 2, 3 bound off stitches, a buttonhole. So it looks like a nice neat edge. There's just a little bit of extra chain every so often that a button will go through. Really nice for pearl type buttons, I think. They go into it very neatly. There you go. And I'm very pleased with the blouse, and I hope you'll knit it and that you can make this kind of buttonholes on it. However, I think that this has a great many other applications that we might want to use it for, and I hope you'll enjoy it. Happy knitting, and bye now.